Gravenmore House, a name whispered with fear and dread. It stood on the outskirts of Silent Hollow, a town lost to time. The manor was a spectre of grandeur, a monument to forgotten glory. Its stone walls were masked in ivy, windows like vacant eyes. Legends clung to the estate, tales of lavish feasts and cursed gatherings. They spoke of souls trapped within, forever bound to the manor's sinister revelry. The manor was a place of whispers and shadows where time itself seemed to twist and turn. It beckoned those seeking truth, daring them to uncover its mysteries. But beware, for Gravenmore House demanded a hefty price. It yearned for souls, drawing them into its macabre embrace. Clara May, a journalist hungry for a story, felt the manor's pull. Her career was built on uncovering the unusual, the forgotten. Gravenmore was a chance to make her mark, to etch her name in journalistic history. She craved the truth behind the whispered legends, the secrets hidden within the manor's decaying walls.
This is it, the story that will define my career.
The air grew colder as she neared the manor. A chill wind whistled through the crumbling stone, whispering tales of despair. Despite the unsettling atmosphere, Clara's resolve solidified. She was determined to unearth the truth, no matter the cost. This story, she knew, would be her magnum opus. Twilight painted the sky in shades of purple and grey as Clara stepped across the threshold of the abandoned mansion. The air inside was stagnant and cold, heavy with the scent of decay and neglect. Dust motes danced in the faint moonlight that filtered through cracks in the walls, creating an eerie glow. She found herself in the grand hall, dominated by a massive dining table that seemed to stretch endlessly. The table was set for a feast, with ornate silverware and cobwebbed crystal glasses, untouched for years. But the food was rotten, plates piled high with putrid meat and mouldering fruit, a grotesque display of decay. The stench was overpowering, a gruesome testament to the manor's grim past and forgotten celebrations. Above the table hung a massive portrait, its colours faded and cracked with age. It depicted a feast in full swing, guests gorging themselves, their faces twisted in grotesque delight, forever frozen in time. Clara set up her camera and audio recorder, her movements echoing in the silence. The room was still, almost too still, as if it were holding its breath, waiting for something to happen.
Okay, let's get this started. I hope this place isn't as haunted as they say.
A sudden gust of wind slammed a window shut, the sound like a scream. It was as if the house itself was protesting their presence.
What was that? Did you hear it too?
She jumped, her heart pounding in her chest. The fear was palpable, almost tangible in the air. The air grew colder, and she felt a presence watching her from the shadows. It was as if the darkness itself had eyes.
Is someone there? Show yourself.
Whispers danced around her, too faint to decipher. They seemed to be coming from every direction, surrounding her. Then came the sound of laughter, echoing from the depths of the manor. It was a chilling, hollow sound that seemed to mock her. It was cold, devoid of mirth, sending shivers down her spine. The temperature seemed to drop with every passing second. A flicker of light caught her eye. It was brief, but enough to make her heart skip a beat.
What's happening? This can't be real.
At the far end of the table, a candle flickered to life, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. It was the beginning of something she couldn't yet comprehend, a symphony of shadows that would change everything. From the shadows, figures began to coalesce, their forms slowly taking shape in the dim light. They were dressed in the finery of a bygone era, their clothes shimmering like cobwebs, delicate and ethereal, as if woven from the very fabric of time. But their faces were gaunt, their eyes hollow pits of darkness, voids that seemed to swallow the light around them. They moved towards her, their movements jerky and unnatural, like marionettes controlled by unseen hands, their hollow eyes fixed on her with an unnerving intensity.
Who are you? Clara's voice trembled, barely above a whisper.
A cold hand touched her shoulder, sending a shiver down her spine. Clara spun around, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. Standing before her was a woman in a decaying ball gown, her face a mask of decay, eyes lifeless yet piercing.
Join us! The ghostly figure beckoned with a skeletal hand.
Her voice, a raspy whisper, sent chills down Clara's spine, each word like a dagger of ice.
The feast awaits. The words hung in the air, heavy with ominous promise.
Terror choked Clara's voice. She stumbled back, her hand reaching for the camera, desperate for an escape. The spectral guests closed in, their laughter echoing around her, a cacophony of madness. The camera captured her final scream, a desperate plea swallowed by the shadows, leaving only silence. Then, silence. The camera, still recording, captured the final horrifying image. Clara seated at the head of the table, her eyes hollow, a grotesque smile etched on her face, as if she had become one with the spectres. Gravenmore House had claimed another soul, its dark legacy continuing to grow.